Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unlocking Data series, where we uncover everything you need to know about personal data sovereignty in the Web3 ecosystem, including topics around data ownership in the metaverse. In the coming episodes, we shall be covering interesting topics on how you can truly own your data and trade your data. Isn't that fascinating? Well, I would love to welcome our guest, Yogesh Tejwani, and Mark Paul, who is the founder of Ethereum, as we always have him. Today's topic of discussion is a very interesting one. We are going to explore Axie Infinity's regional micro-guild ecosystem. And Hi, Mark. Hi, Yogesh.
Hi everyone, mute. So hi Yogesh. Nice to have you here.
Pleased to have you here, guys. Thank you.
Great. So, Yogesh, would you like to start with your own introduction?
Sure, definitely. So basically, I'm a marketer. I create content as well as I help brands with their influencer marketing. And as in the Web3, I got introduced to Axie Infinity. And earlier I was a scholar, but with months coming in, I have become a MicroGuild owner. I have few scholars under me who I train and lease my Axies to. And yeah, I'm exploring Web3, and I'm very excited for the future of Web3 and how play to earn is turning up and spreading across India.
All right, Yogesh, let's deep dive into this a little bit. Now, it's quite unique. Usually in these episodes we talk about like data, but today we're talking about micro guilds, and the reason we're doing this is because we have found that these guild ecosystems are generating a lot of data and a lot of insights, which are really good. So let's start at the basics, right? Could you explain to the audience what is Axie Infinity and how big is this game in India?
Right. So Axie Infinity is an NFT game. If we basically say it's a play to earn game where you buy. Firstly, to invest in the game, you have to buy 3 Axies. These are like Pokemon-like creatures who fight with each other and then earn a token called SLP inside the game. It's a one of the many play-to-earn games who have received a lot of success in Southeast Asia and across the world. It's growing rapidly across India, and it has a model where investors and people who don't want to invest can also engage with the game and earn out of it. So the people who don't want to invest in the game and still play and earn out of it are called scholars, and people who either manage these scholars or train them or invest in it are called managers. So this is just the jargon that we use also. So yeah, this is the kind of a model where people can earn out of playing, and that's pretty much the whole of Axie Infinity is. Although it's a huge universe and it is getting built, it's on the very initial stage as of right now. But yeah, let's see what comes in the future.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. This when play to earn is such a interesting concept because in many parts of the world, like this could just become your income, right? Like it's almost a job. You're earning probably more money playing these games than you would going and struggling for 10 hours. So is this kind of dynamic in India as well? Like I know this is quite, it's quite obvious in Philippines and stuff. In India, is this dynamics also there?
Yes, of course. There has been a lot of scholars who have been playing in India, and they are earning well. Although the value of SLP defines how much they are able to earn, because a scholar can have one team at a time, and depending on the price of SLP, they get to earn at least a internship level salary just by playing a couple of hours a day.
Okay, yeah, perfect. All right, so moving on to the next topic, can you explain what a guild is in Axie Infinity? And how does the guild work? Like, what are the tools that have been used? Discord being one, but could you explain that ecosystem to us?
Definitely. So, guild is a group of people who are coming together to play a game. So it's a kind of a community on Discord, or anywhere, be it on Telegram or on Discord, where a lot of scholars and managers come together, interact with each other, teach each other, discuss about the game, and yeah, overall learn the game. So this is a kind of a community in which investors can be benefited by investing in new games, while the guild helps new games to get the distribution by getting users for them. And while managers who are already good at gaming and are able to play the game well, they are able to earn out of these guilds by training other scholars, training new scholars how to play the game. So this is like a community where people come together, learn about Axie, and yeah, they explore what other play to earn games are there, and that's pretty much.
I know that makes sense. So, okay, so now the next question is around what I don't know if this is the actual term, but there's the macro guild and micro guild. If you look at YGG, they are huge, right? And they are, you would call them like a macro guild.
Right.
What we're also observing is that there is a lot more micro guilds, right? Like much smaller sort of guilds that are operating on the sidelines. Can you explain to me, if let's say I'm a player, should I be? What are the situation where I would join the macro guild, or why would I prefer a micro guild?
Right. So as you use the example of YGG, right? Yield Guild Games. Yield Guild game is the guild of guilds. So where not only you would get to play Axie Infinity, there are a lot of play to earn games which are coming up in the market, and you get to explore those as well. So Yield Guild Games is a guild where we have a lot of scholars, and they explore other games depending on their interest, whatever they would like to play. And yeah, while this is what we call a macro guild, where we have systems, where we have managers, where we have bot commands, so that there's no confusion or any manual work that needs to be done. And also it's a huge community where you can solve your doubts in seconds. If you put a doubt or a question in the group or in the channel, you get the answers in seconds. So there is this benefit of being a part of a huge guild called or a micro guild. While the macro guilds are when experienced players themselves invest in the game by Axies for their scholars and get scholars to join their team. So this can be a smaller team, can be of 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, and this smaller guild are more connected when it comes to one-on-one training. So if a new scholar wants to join the game and he is unaware about the game, I would recommend them to join a micro guild first, because in micro guilds you get to talk to your manager one-on-one. Even if you feel, yeah, I'm unable to play the game, I want to understand my cards, I want to understand my energy and the strategies, how can I play the game, you can connect with your manager. They can get you on a call and can teach you one-on-one. While in macro guilds it gets a bit difficult, but of course we have YouTube. There are a lot of trainers on YouTube who can teach you. But specifically when it comes to understanding how to play the game from the basics, micro guilds are very beneficial for new scholars.
Yeah, Yogesh, I think that makes sense. So just wanted to clarify, I think you mentioned macro guilds, micro guilds. Macro guilds are the big ones and the micro guilds are the small ones. So I wanted to clarify that point. Okay, now we've established why a player would prefer a micro guild. If it's a brand new player, where do they even go to look for a micro guild? Is there like some sort of directory of all the micro guilds that I can look? And because with YGG as an example, I can join and I can participate and eventually get a scholarship. But where do they go in the micro guild world?
True. I mean, you have raised a question which was there in my mind as well. There is the issue of discovery. Even micro guilds who are looking for scholars are facing challenges in discovering new scholars people who are interested in playing games, and the scholars who are interested in playing games are facing difficulties in discovering the micro guilds which are ready to give them an opportunity to play the game. There, of course, this is a challenge. There's a real challenge that people are facing, but there, if you can follow, I mean, if someone really wants to join micro guilds and would want to learn, they can follow a lot of players, a lot of experienced players on Twitter, and connect with them over there. Of course, they are there is a Web3 community on Twitter who talks about Axie, and there are Axie handles where you can reach out to your managers or new micro guild owners who can probably offer you a scholarship on Axie Infinity.
All right, perfect. Okay, so now let's dive into a little bit about the actual MicroGuild, how it's set up, and then dive into a bit more of the insights that you use as a MicroGuild manager. Can you explain the step-by-step process to set up a MicroGuild?
So, to set up a MicroGuild, you need to have a little experience on what the Axies are, how to find good Axies, and what kind of Axies would you like to offer to your scholars. Depending on that, you need to find the right Axies, the right price. How do you create the accounts for new scholars, and how do you communicate with them and teach them, right? So these are the four basic structures that need to be set up first, so that it gets smoother for you as well as scholars, for a manager as well as scholars to get into micro guilds. Now, how to set up a micro guild? Firstly, as an experienced player, I can tell that how was my experience. I go on a marketplace. It's a Axie Infinity marketplace. We purchase 3 Axies for one team. For per scholar gets one team, and we purchase 3 Axies. It's a combo of Axie in which you get various features which helps you win games. Now, of course, there are a lot of details in it, but yeah, firstly, we get to purchase Axies and add them in our account. And when a scholar is interested in joining your micro guild, we give them the access of these Axies, so that they can play using these Axies and compete with other players in the game. Now, next comes how do you train them? So training can be done via call or Google Meets or anyway, so that people can understand what exactly is the game, how do you play it, how do you understand the cards that are there in the game, and all the technicalities of the game, which helps them improve day by day. So the system that we have to use is to make sure that your Axie is an NFT and it's valuable, so they are safe and they are accessible to the scholar at whenever they want. Now, of course, the account has to have a code which gets refreshed every 14 days. So now, how do you communicate your code whenever? So in micro guilds, the difference is when in the macro guilds, you can just put a bot command and get your code to access the Axies. But in the micro guild, you don't have bot commands which can give the access of Axies to scholars whenever they want. So they have to communicate with the manager, and yeah, that is one thing that is kind of a drawback, which takes a little time. But yeah, on the other side, the scholars get to earn as well as learn one-on-one as well as earn well using micro guilds.
Okay, perfect. Now, as a micro guild manager, and let's say you purchase the Axie teams that are really good, and now you want to attract really good players. How do you do that? Like, where do you advertise? Do you have to manually reach out to people? Is there like a tool that you can use? How would you do that?
Right. I would also recommend, like, if there are new players, they should join macro guilds as well, because on macro guilds there are experienced players, and they put up their ads for if they are looking for scholars. So now, if they put up ads that they are looking for scholars, and if you can reach out to them, there's possibility that they can pick you up as their scholars. But yeah, as you said, that how do you reach out to good players? I think Discord is the channel where they meet, and as they understand the context. So now a good player would of course understand the context, how is the game and how is it played. So if there is a good player, we can find them on Discord groups, so that there are not only on YG, there are also few Discord channels which are Indian based, and there are scholars and managers available on those Discord channels as well. So that is the place where a scholar and a manager can meet.
Yeah. Is there such a concept as you interviewing a new player if they want to join?
Yeah, I mean that's a way of understanding a scholar, like how well they play, how determined they are to play the game. So the farming of SLP, when we play, there's an earn. So when we play and win the games, the SLPs are farmed. So a manager is interested to know that if the player is good and is able to farm well, and if the player is consistent, that he's consistently playing every day. So to understand that, they might have a conversation, and we call it interview or something like that. I have never taken an interview. I have only recruited new scholars and I've trained them. So of course there are good scholars and there are players who are playing really well, and if we wish, and if a manager wishes to take an interview, they can have a conversation about how consistent they are and how well they play, how well they understand the game. That's more important, and that's what helps them understand how well the scholar is going to farm the SLP.
Okay, makes sense. Yes. Now, actually, that connects well with my next question, right? So now you've set up a really awesome micro guild. You've got some really good Axie teams. You're starting to look at the players. Are there any tools available to you where you can, for example, put the player's Discord username or could you put the player's Ronin address, and then it tells you automatically how much of SLP they are farming or winning? Are there any automatic tools rather than you asking the player, "Hey, can you tell me what you've done?"
Yes, definitely. There are a couple of tools. For example, there's a tool called Axie.management. So in that tool, a manager can have an access to the account in which the Axies are there and when they are getting played. All the details of how are they getting played and what is the amount of SLP that they are earning, what is the consistency rate of the scholar. Everything is getting tracked, and as a manager, it is good for me to understand how is the player playing and what are the issues that the player is facing, so that we can help him or her improve on the game, which will help them farm more SLP and earn more out of the game. Of course, there are tools like that, and it is very necessary for a micro guild owner to access these tools and use these tools.
Yeah. So that's just to clarify. So that is if they are in your team already, right? And they're already in your micro guild. What happens if there is a new player who's come and said, "Hey, Yogesh, I want to join your micro guild. Here's my Discord username, or here's my Ronin address." Using those kind of identifiers, are you able to see their performance in other micro guilds?
Well, that data is not available as of right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
And to understand the history of a player, it gets very difficult to know.
Okay, Yogesh. So my final question is around the Indian Axie ecosystem. I'm really interested in this topic because I see guilds like YGG and stuff really trying to focus a lot of attention in the Indian ecosystem. Can you tell me what is your view on the current ecosystem, and where do you think this is heading in India? How big could it get in India?
Right. Axie Infinity, according to me, is a phenomena. The way it has moved, and it has got scholars and players as their users is amazing. In India, they are improving their network. They are hiring managers. They are trying to recruit a lot of scholars, build a lot of teams where scholars can come up and experience the game, play the game. Although the game as an Axie is getting improved, and there are new possibilities coming up where you don't even have to invest to play the game. That would be a groundbreaking development, a feature, or you can say, in the gaming. But yeah, I'm very excited to meet new scholars, to teach them, and put them in my team so that we can build a bigger guild and help them financially, and you know help them earn while playing. So I'm very excited. And as Xe, even Xe is playing a huge part in networking and connecting various managers, networking them so that they can understand what are the nuances, how can we manage scholars, how can we hire new scholars, and how can we solve their problems so that the experience of all scholars is very smooth while playing the game and earning out of it.
Cool, thank you. So in that, just to give one closing thought. So based on our discussion today, it became very obvious to me there is a lot of opportunities for data insights. Mainly, I feel around the scholars, right, or the players, because at the moment, based on the scholarship model, there's very little visibility on what makes the players perform well, the ability to recruit the best players. So Ethereum is very excited about this opportunity, and more so, we're very excited to be able to build a sort of a platform that's studying the data that's coming out of the scholars, not just through their Ronin address and their SLP holdings, but more so from their Discord activity, their Twitter activity, seeing who are the ones who are very engaged. And what we're more excited about is then unleashing this analytics for the MicroGuild ecosystem, because we feel like that ecosystem is actually significantly bigger than the MicroGuild ecosystem. So if we can engage, and we'll be very excited to work with someone like you who's running a MicroGuild, who wants to grow, maybe have more MicroGuilds, attract more scholars. So it'll be really awesome to kind of explore this together. And we're very excited to be able to work with you on this.
Definitely, Mark. I mean, the ideas that you have shared are really exciting, and the way Ethereum is planning to help, and they're working on helping MicroGuilds. I see a really better future coming up in future. That I see a really good future when it comes to understanding the data and how the players are playing, and what their engagement rate is, and what are their engagements are on Discord or on Twitter, and how a manager like me can find data which can help me take better decisions about my scholars, and how to help them get better.
Okay, Yogesh, thank you for that. Let me bring in Anita, and then we'll have some closing words, and then we can wrap up.
Great conversation, guys. It was very interesting to understand the synergies over here from Mark, obviously, about Ethereum and how data NFTs and data NFMEs will be working around the gaming data, and how Yogesh has been running the MicroGuilds and helping players and scholars make an earning out of it. So this is a very interesting topic. Thank you guys for this chat. It was really lovely having you. I think we can always have another episode with Yogesh, understanding more about the nitty-gritties of Axie, or about the other play-to-earn games in the metaverse.
Definitely. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. And I would love to collaborate in any way in whichever way I can help Ethereum to get things going.
Thank you, Yogesh. Wonderful having a chat. I'm looking forward to the next chat, where we'll probably dive into a few more things.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.